Welcome to The Explainer. What if our entire approach to solving poverty is, well, just wrong? Today, we're digging into a framework that completely challenges the idea that poverty is just about a lack of money. Instead, it reframes it as something much, much deeper, a crisis of connection. Yeah, this quote from economist Amartya Sen really hits the nail on the head, right? When we hear the word poverty, our minds immediately go to material things. Not enough food, no money, no shelter, and that's pretty much the starting block for most traditional aid. But here's the big question this framework asks. What if all that is just a symptom? The perspective we're exploring today argues that the real problem isn't what people lack, but what's been fundamentally broken in their lives, their communities, and their relationships. Okay, so let's really dig into this core idea that completely flips the script on how we look at poverty. This is where the whole shift in thinking really starts. So here it is. This framework redefines poverty not as a lack of stuff, but as a whole web of broken relationships. The argument is that these broken connections are the actual root of the problem, and they affect every single part of a person's life. This whole idea is built around four, let's call them fractures, four key areas where relationships are broken, creating a cycle that you just can't fix by handing out material aid alone. So let's break them down one by one. First up, there's the broken relationship a person has with themselves. And, just imagine that for a second. Feeling like you have no value, no purpose. This isn't just about being sad. It's this deep, crushing sense of shame and helplessness that can paralyze people. It strips away the very dignity they need to even begin to change their own circumstances. Second, poverty shatters the relationships between people in a community. It fuels isolation, it breeds injustice, it leads to exploitation. And when trust just evaporates from a community, things like collaboration and progress become almost impossible. And then, number 3 is our broken relationship with creation itself, with the environment. This is all about failing to be good stewards of the resources we all depend on. For people experiencing poverty, who often live closest to the land, the fallout from this, like polluted water or useless soil, is immediate, and it's devastating. And the last one, the fourth one, gets into a spiritual dimension. It's what this framework calls a broken relationship with God. This is seen as the foundational break, the one that disconnects people from a sense of ultimate purpose, value, and a hope that can carry them beyond their circumstances. Okay, so if the real problem is all about these broken relationships, what does that actually mean for how we try to help? Well, it means that just throwing stuff at the problem might not just miss the point, it could actually make things a whole lot worse. You see, when we just look at poverty as a material problem, our solutions, even when we mean well, can be, well, incredibly damaging. They can end up creating dependency, totally ignoring local culture, and just completely failing to create any kind of lasting, sustainable change. And this right here, this chart just lays it out so clearly. The goal is no longer to be the hero who swoops in with a bunch of handouts. The goal is to be a partner, to help a community discover its own strengths and become the hero of its own story. It's all about restoring dignity, not creating dependency. So what does this new approach actually look like on the ground? Well, it all starts by asking a totally different question.
It's all built around a strategy called asset-based community development, or ABCD for short. And it basically flips the whole traditional model upside down. Instead of walking in and asking, so what's broken here? It starts by asking, what's strong here? It's a huge shift from focusing on needs to focusing on assets.
And the way it works is actually super practical. It starts with discovery, not, coming in like a doctor with a diagnosis. You start by mapping out the assets, the skills, the knowledge, the local groups that are already there. Then you get people together. And only then do you start brainstorming solutions, making sure the community itself is driving the change, using the resources they already have. So when you put it all together, this whole vision is really about creating the right conditions for communities to flourish on their own by restoring those 4 broken relationships we talked about earlier. I love this garden analogy because it just captures the idea so well. I mean, you can't just throw seeds on bad soil and expect a miracle, right? Real sustainable change means you have to do the patient work first. You have to restore the soil of the community by mending those broken relationships. That's the only way new life can actually take root and flourish. So, to wrap things up, what's the big takeaway here? It's really a vision for restoring wholeness to people and to places. It recognizes that poverty is complicated, so our solutions have to be holistic too. They have to focus on empowerment, on local ownership, and above all, on human dignity. And that's really the question this whole framework leaves us with, isn't it? It challenges us to reconsider not just what we do to help, but maybe more importantly, how we see the very people we're trying to serve, not as problems that need to be fixed, but as partners with inherent dignity and incredible potential.